You guys already know how much I love my bulldog, and because my workshop is in my garage, she doesn't really have a cozy place to lay. That is why I am happy to announce that I have partnered up with my good friends over at Home Depot to DIY a Pallet dog bed. Just a side note, I have broken down this DIY on the Home Depot blog, which is linked below along with all their other social medias. First things first, you're going to want to gather all the materials in order to build this guy. You don't want to make a couple of trips to Home Depot like I did. So obviously you are going to need a pallet, and then I am using the Ryobi reciprocating saw, the Orbit sander, and their drill. You are going to need 80 grit and 120 grit sandpaper. 4 wheels, whether they move or not, it's totally up to you, like whether they swivel. 4 corner braces, some wood screws, and some Gorilla wood glue. There are not going to be any specific measurements because obviously everybody's dog size is going to vary. Because I didn't need the whole pallet because I don't have a ginormous dog, I just needed to cut off a little bit, so I marked it with some chalk, and then I took my reciprocating saw and I literally just cut down that line. Now the smaller part of the pallet is going to be the headboard of the bed. Next, I took my handy cordless Ryobi Orbit sander and I sanded down the entire pallet, first with 80 grit sandpaper, and then I went back in with 120 just to make sure everything was smooth and nothing would hurt Callie. This is totally optional, but I wanted to add her name in cursive to the headboard, so before I attached it, which would make it way more difficult to add it, I just decided to add it now. So of course I found some inspiration online, and then I just took a pencil and I literally sketched out her name. I went back in with some basic white paint, and then I traced that and thickened it up to make it look a little bit fancier than it was. Obviously you're going to want to erase the pencil, so make sure you do so. I don't know about you, but I really like that little detail. Your brad didn't have long enough screws to go through that thick of wood, so I just took my reciprocating saw and just trimmed it down a bit, and then took some wood screws and screwed that headboard directly into the back of that pallet. I'm going to make some arms by using extra pallet pieces, so I'm just going to line it up with the bed and then make my mark of where I want to cut it. I then put some wood glue along the bottom of the bed, lined it up to the back of the headboard where I wanted it, and then screwed some wood screws on the opposite side of the headboard going into the arm to secure it first, like that. I then reinforced those arms with brackets, so I put 2 on each side and drilled them in. This is what you should have so far, minus the bulldog. You're going to flip that over and then screw a wheel into each corner. And that's legitimately all you got to do. I then added a blanket for easier cleanup versus a mattress. I also added these little containers so I could keep her outside toys and some little wipes that she needs throughout the day when I'm working. I was cheesing so hard once I saw how much she loved it and her little tail was shaking. Thank you so much, Home Depot, for partnering up with me in order to build this for my baby girl. Once Callie got up on the bed, she could not get enough of it. I need to actually go back and buy wheels with brakes because she loves to jump off and jump on it and slide all around my garage. Be sure to check out the blog post on the Home Depot site that is linked below for you, and do not forget to connect with them and me on my socials that are also linked below. I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY pallet dog bed. Thank you again, Home Depot, for partnering up with me. Alright guys, that is it. I will see you next Wednesday.